You are now listening to the LanceScurv Show, the boldest spot on internet radio.
After the game, two people got into a fight with cops working the crowds.
Fox 35's Matt Trezza is live outside the stadium with video you'll only see on Fox. And Matt, you and photographer Joel Oyola actually saw part of this happen, right?
Absolutely. It was actually almost amazing to watch. 25,000 people coming down Church Street here, pouring out of the stadium back there. I'd like to say it all went off without a hitch, but that sadly was not the case. Orange County Sheriff's Office confirming to us that one of their off-duty deputies was jumped by three people as they came down the street here, and we happened on the scene just after it happened, literally seconds. Take a look. Police and deputies pinning two men to the pavement. An injured sheriff's deputy nursing his wounded leg. Paul Hamilton says he saw it all.
Some young male scuffling with an officer, and one had the officer in a chokehold while the other was trying to hit him.
He says he'd never seen anything like it.
It was a little crazy because it just happened out of nowhere. We were walking and then suddenly there was this crazy fight going on.
All on the evening of Orlando City's home opener. While the action went on inside the stadium, outside, vendors made money selling food.
The crowd comes back and support Orlando City soccer team, and we do good business. Everybody do good business all the way around. So I think so. It's a good thing here.
Towing companies made money hauling away people parked illegally. And residents made money selling parking.
I picked $10 because I see a lot of people around here charging $20, $40, and $30, so I figured I should go lower than them so I can at least make more money.
And despite the congestion, fans said it was easy enough to find parking.
It seems like they've planned it out. They've worked really well with linear parking. Everything's working out really well. We parked comfortably, and I'm not concerned about my safety or anything.
And earlier, the city had told people to try and find ways to ease congestion in the area. It looks like they did that. People were taking public transport, buses and trains to get here. There was extended Sunrail service and busing in order to help people to get around. We talked with some people who said they were using Uber and pedicabs to get around as well. As for that wounded sheriff's deputy, we understand he was taken to the hospital with an injured leg. Live in downtown Orlando, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News.
LanceScurv here once again. I want to read an article from the Orlando Sentinel, written by contact reporter Crystal Hayes, and the title of it is Orange County Deputy Beaten, Choked During Fight After Soccer Game. Now bear with me because we have Lawanna Gelzer on the line and she's going to put it down uncensored and she will be uncut. But I want to read this article so you have an even deeper understanding because we want to speak about how this article was also written. Bear with me, Lawanna. Anyway, an Orange County deputy was injured after being attacked while trying to break up a fight between fans after the Orlando City soccer game Sunday, police say. The deputy, who wasn't immediately identified, was working extra duty for the Orlando Police Department at the Orlando City soccer home opener, which was the team's first game in their new stadium. After the game ended about 7:47 p.m., the deputy was near 595 West Church Street in between Parramore and Division Avenues and tried to break up a large fight. Several people involved in the fight started striking and choking the deputy until assisting units arrived, said Orlando Police Lieutenant Robert Baer. Baer said it was first thought the incident was an unprovoked attack. The deputy was in full uniform. 3 suspects were arrested, Baer said. They have not been identified. Baer said police are still investigating the incident, but they are not looking for any additional suspects. The deputy was taken to the hospital with a leg injury, but is expected to be okay. Footage of the incident shows a large crowd of people in soccer clothing gathered near a patrol car. The video shows people in the group shoving an officer and the officer pushing back. Several other officers are kneeling near the patrol car, appearing to tend to someone on the ground. Brandon Alba captured some of the incident on camera. He said a group of fans of New York City FC who lost to Orlando City were arguing with some Orlando fans. One New York fan started arguing with an officer, then things got ugly. Things started to get out of hand, he said. One of the New York fans started fighting with a cop, and even choking him. The incident is the latest in a rash of violence against law enforcement in Central Florida. At least 12 officers have been shot or shot at since the start of 2017, leaving 1 dead and 3 injured. The shooting death of Lieutenant Deborah Clayton was the start of the violence just 9 days into the new year. Clayton was shot execution style after confronting murder suspect Markeith Lloyd at a Walmart at Princeton Street and John Young, police said. Orange County Sheriff's Sergeant Richard Stelter was the last officer injured when he was shot multiple times on Tuesday by a robbery suspect. Stelter is expected to be okay and was released from the hospital. Check back for updates on this breaking news story. Now, I'm not going to keep you waiting too long, Lawanna, but the way this story was written, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in for a minute. And we're going to roll with you. They specified New York fans. New York fans started it. Well, if they did, and this is a fact, they did. If they did, but to me, this is to make it seem as though it's those New Yorkers who started it. This is not what we do in Orlando. You see what I mean? You see the slant? Because they're trying to protect the image of the soccer stadium, and they don't want the tourists that are going to be coming down here to think that this is a rowdy place where folks from Orlando start stuff. Okay? The other thing that I have a problem with is why are they connecting the shooting death of Lieutenant Deborah Clayton with this story? It's like they're trying to deflect. They're trying to push it off again and bring it back on and bring up someone else's name, Markeith Lloyd. And they put a live link where you can click onto it. So now it's the blacks who are doing things down here, the New York fans and the blacks. But they're not speaking of the harassment that the police do to us and the things that I see. You see? Now, that being said, Lawanna, I want to talk to you. I want you to let us have it. You're not going to get the same airtime anywhere else as you would here on the LanceScurv show. So anyway, give it to us, Lawanna.
Hi, everybody. How you doing, Lance? I'm just here calling in. I'm very concerned about how they're trying to redirect the news story in reference to the officer or the deputy that happened at the soccer game. What we need to all understand is the soccer stadium never belonged in this community, but more so, how is these individuals not pepper spray, not treated the same way they do everybody else in the zip code? I'm angry because I want to make sure that they're charged, and we need to all understand that this behavior was in a residential community.
Yes.
And that because of the color of their skin, and I'm not going to say no more, you know what I'm talking about. They get to go home, but they got arrested. But you didn't use your excessive force, and you didn't police them the way you do the black people that live in this community.
Exactly.
You treated them differently.
Exactly.
We had a tourist Noel Carter come to Orlando. Pepper spray. They found him guilty because the officer fell down, and they lied on everything, and they was going to get his man 15 years. What's going to happen to these people? I want the same type of things that they did to this person apply to them. But I guarantee you, because the color of their skin, they're trying to say, I was just misunderstanding. It was this. No pepper spray, no nothing, no tasing, no nothing was done. But they were fighting. They choked an officer. But the officer was so restrained that he knew not to do anything to them. But when it's with us, we get beaten, tased, dragged, even if we've not committed a crime. Why is there such a double standard in Orlando? Why? Because racism exists within the Orlando Police Department in the way they treat people of color. You need to be angry because it should not have happened. First of all, and then the way they're trying to tell the community, it's just a misunderstanding. No, it's not a misunderstanding. It was your opening, and you're trying to do your public relations, cover this up, sweep it under the rug, get people thinking about something else. No, the bottom line is you got caught. Tell the world what is happening here and stop discriminating against the people of color in this community. We're sick and tired of you policing us differently. You said it even in federal court. You said it. You have to do us differently because of where we reside in, because of our zip code. Well, using zip code 32805, why that person didn't go down? Why they didn't get the same treatment?
Right.
I mean, I had a public defender tell Mr. Carter, you better be glad that they didn't shoot you. Shoot you for what crime did you commit? Nothing.
And these guys put their hand on them.
Yeah, this is what we got.
And choked them. You think if I did that, I would be alive right now?
Dead. You would be dead right now. Any white person would have been dead. First of all, it wouldn't have even got you that far because most of the people that lived around the stadium were told not to even come that way.
Yes.
It was chaotic. They were like, oh, we didn't know it's here. Well, where you think you're going to build a soccer stadium if you build it in the middle of someone's community on top of that major thoroughfare? So all of the people are shocked because they're walking by the homeless, and now all of a sudden you're scared. These people been here forever. We're more afraid of you and what the police will do to us than you should be of us. Because we live here every day and we see the dishonesty, the disjustice, and the injustice that's continue to happen to our community. So what we're saying is welcome to our world. And we want you, all of you, to be treated exactly the way we are treated in zip code 32805. All right now.
And I haven't once read in any article or any account of this incident where they referred to the people who committed this act as thugs or criminals, anything like that. Isn't that something? And it's right there in the Parramore area.
Everybody knows calling somebody a thug is the using the N-word supposed to be disguised. No one's crazy. We're bad individuals. The homeless. We're this, we're that. We should be happy that you brought all of this money to our community. What money? Corporate welfare at its highest. They put $100,000 for some palm trees in front of the stadium. That was my tax dollars. That's my tax dollars as a business owner to have a business within the CRA zone and the downtown development zone. You keep giving our money away to your friends, but that money should have went for paving our streets and everything else. This community of Parramore has seen all its money sucked out of this community and going to one or two people, the Magic and the doggone now private owners of the soccer stadium. So what?
And they
billionaires. Why we should suffer for you to continue to make money? So I'm just saying this. Y'all were scared to come in our community. Well, we here every day. We're not scared. We're not scared. We're more afraid of what Orlando police do to us when you're not watching. Oh, as long as it happened to the black people, it's okay.
Yeah.
So I say to Orlando Police Department and everybody that's writing these stories and trying to say, oh, it's just a misunderstanding, stop lying. Stop doing your public relations. It's a bunch of bullcrap. You discriminate against people of color, especially black people, and we're sick and tired of the double standards. Everybody, take your money somewhere else. Don't come to Orlando and spend your money. It's not as magical as you might think. You better check out what goes on behind closed doors. But for some of us, it's right in our face every day, and we're sick and tired of the double standards.
You know, when I'm out there back and forth, I notice on certain nights, it's like it's lit up like a Christmas tree. It's like there was a word given to harass the people that are there, especially before when you would have something going on by the Amway, a game or an event, or something down by Camping World, formerly the Citrus Bowl, those lights that were put there straight down, you know, going down Church and going down Central, how the businesses are set up. But it seems like they wanted to treat the people who lived there like roaches, like you're having a dinner date.
No, they don't want us around. So I won't even classify us that. The bottom line is you don't want people to think we exist in these conditions because you're so embarrassed. But you do all the streetscape cleanup in Church Street and on Central, and you block off the rest of the community because you don't want nobody to venture past those boundaries. But what people fail to understand was not only did you use eminent domain and you built this right beside a church, you changed every law to allow open containers in the street.
Oh.
Churches, 3 churches.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Y'all forgot about that. They forgot to tell the church, oh, we having our opening. Can we work something out? The one right beside. Faith Deliverance. They decided themselves to move their service up. And then people are commenting because the church said they never contacted them. Well, it wouldn't have happened if it was on another day. And plus, the game don't start at 5 o'clock. No,
True.
Started at 11 o'clock, in at 1, and the bottom line is they started shutting down streets around 9 o'clock that morning. So don't tell us we weren't inconvenienced in our community. People were inconvenienced for the entire day, and no one cared about the community. All they cared about was them few individuals who came to a soccer game, and then when they mess up, because they're allowed to drink all day long, and everybody, if you follow soccer fans, they one of the most rowdiest group you will ever have to meet. I would never go to those games. I don't have anything against the sport, but I have a problem with you bringing that right in a community, with a residential community, right beside 3 churches, and you don't even care. So I say to the team owners and everybody else, Orlando Soccer is the worst neighbors you could ever have. Come and be their neighbors, because we don't want them here. We never did, and we can see exactly what we were talking about going to happen over and over again. We do not want them here, and they're the worst neighbors you could ever have, because they put a commercial facility downtown in a residential community, right in the middle, the heart of the community. That's what they did. So to all the people who say, well, what's wrong with her and why she sounds so angry? Why I'm angry is because you are disrespecting the rules and regulations that's supposed to protect our community.
Yes.
And our own government changed every rule they could to allow that to be there. And that's what I'm upset about.
And wouldn't you say this is part of a controlled demolition of the entire area there?
Gentrification. We had 20,000 people here less than 10 years ago, and now we're down to 5. What do you tell me what's going on? What's going on is they don't want us here, and they don't even pay us for what our community is really working with our property. They just want our land, and they will do whatever they can to drive the community out. But what they need to understand is the community is not finished, and we're going to let the world know what you did, Orlando. Oh, Orlando United, we're strong. No, we're not. That's what they want you to believe. We are hurting, and we're sick and tired of money that was earmarked for our community to be spent differently every time, over and over again. And all you hear is 1 or 2 African Americans, a couple of preachers that give $500 to show up and say, it's going to be good for the community. It's going to bring jobs.
Yeah.
What jobs y'all talking about? Tell me what jobs are you talking about? Parking some cars? I was so upset with one of the business owners downtown shaking and jiving and, Parramore, I'm going to have a payday because I'm going to get to charge $40 to park some cars. Even if you park 10 cars, that's $400. Are you really happy that you paid $400 to $500 yesterday for parking cars? Well, right across the street from your business, they spent $100,000 on some palm trees. You don't even know what wealth is and how they doing you.
Tell them.
You were shuffling, dancing for the people, for the man, and you look like a fool because you thought that was something. And I was embarrassed for you. I was embarrassed for you because you are so cheap. You don't even know your value. And that's what they hope people don't know, the value of their community. But they need to understand, some of us do. And we're going to fight you with everything we got. We're tired. So I tell everybody, the Division Street is still there, and it's Division Street for a reason. And we don't need them to change the name.
Yes.
Gentrification has been going on forever. And what we need to understand, what we were talking about from the beginning. See, they don't want you to know how nasty Orlando City government, Mayor Dyer and his cronies commissioners.
Yes, tell them.
Do whatever they want to. And the worst ones are the 2 African Americans. They don't even understand what public policy is. They think if you bring some book bags and some turkeys and some bicycles into the community, then we all right. No, you don't do that in other communities.
That's right.
Them other commissioners, they can get $6 million spent on some trees for a dog park, but you can't get our streets taken care of, and all you do is say how great it's going to be. No, it's not great. Need to go and do a little education, because you need to think of this job as public policy. understanding what your job is, and not, if you want to be a social worker, you should have never ran for public office, because you don't know the difference, because it's clearly based on what you vote on and what you do for the community. You don't understand what you're supposed to be doing there.
That's right.
So move away from the community. So I say to Orlando Police Department, which is number one in the country for excessive force cases, and number two in the country per capita for police shooting of unarmed individuals. See, they ain't tell you all about that, did they? Which means, what are they doing? They're heavily policing, or they're policing by fear and intimidation in communities of color. And so welcome to zip code 32805. So we want to make sure the same treatment that you did to everybody else that's been arrested in this zip code is applied to those three individuals. And it was not a misunderstanding. It's just who you are. It's human nature. That's how mostly soccer fans are. And that's how they act. So sorry to paint you that way, but statistically speaking, that's what happens at y'all game when you drink all day and things like that. You rowdy. So call them the thugs that they are.
Exactly. Exactly.
Call them what it is. And stop telling me it's a misunderstanding. And, you know, I can talk all day, Lance, about this, but I want the community to know, and the people that's going to be able to listen to this, is that don't get angry. Take the information that I provided and do your own research and start fighting against the injustices that is happening to the voiceless, the people who cannot fight for themselves. Take it upon yourself to do something about it. Take it upon yourself if you see an injustice or when a police officer treats somebody wrong. Help them fill out the complaint form. Be there to hold their hand, because they will never stop until they're exposed. And always remember, Black History Month ended in February 28th. But always remember, where did the concept of policing come from? The slave patrol must maintain, control the property. And it hasn't changed.
It hasn't.
You still got officers with that mindset.
They come into the force with that. Yeah. Yeah.
We got that. They still got it. Well, they're black. They in their community. They bad. They're this. They're that. We got to treat them differently. And they even so bold enough to say it, even in federal court.
Yes.
They said it. So don't be surprised when we rise up and say we've had enough. It's because of how you treat us. It's you. Your job is to protect and serve, not to police by fear and intimidation. And I can speak because you've done it to me more than one occasion. You assume because I'm at my child care facility or working in the community or talking to people, you can talk to me any kind of way and disrespect me. But the difference between me and the others, I know my rights, and I'm quick to call your boss and file a complaint against you. So I tell everybody else, empower yourself to know who's in your community.
Yes.
And make sure you hold them accountable. Don't give them a pass to treat us differently anymore, because they will continue to do it as long as they feel like they can get away with it. And I said we have enough data to prove Orlando Police Department, it's not one or two officers, it's a whole bunch of them. And so when they want to change police who want to do something, they don't change their behavior. They tell you they're getting better training. No, they change their rules and policies to adapt to what they've been doing all along. Always remember that. Because now, if you're number one in the country for excessive force cases and you change your metric of use of force from 6 levels to 4, and that at your first contact, you can pepper spray.
Right.
Because you feel
it's a bigger jump.
That's what you guys need to know. The rest of the country, the rest of the police officers, the rest of the forces, all throughout federal government, everything don't have that. But the Orlando Police Department do. So I want to know, if you're getting choked, why you in pepper spray them?
There you go.
Oops. Was it because they were white?
No.
That, I just want to know. But they was in zip code 32805. Oh, tell me what it can be. When you get me the answer, somebody give me a call. Because right now, I'm livid. I'm livid, and the world need to know what goes on in the city of Orlando.
I have 2 more quick questions for you, because I know you have to go. but I want you to explain how the media works along with the police and the agenda that they have for this area, and also explain to everybody how this is not just Orlando. This is what's happening here is happening all over the country, and also how Orlando is per capita worse off than what they say Chicago is pound for pound. But they don't say it because this is Disneyland and Universal, and that would be bad for business. But this place here, pound for pound, is worse than Chicago. But they're never saying anything about that. Donald Trump is not saying anything about sending people here, right?
Oh, well, they got most of the media in their pocket. So, I mean, we used to work with certain media. We don't even work with them anymore. I mean, I've done stories where at 5:58, I'm in the store, and because they find out it's me, then at 6:15 when it airs, the management, the producers have pulled my part out. I know which media outlets to work with. And the bottom line is, that's how it is in Orlando, because you do have Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and they don't want the world to know how bad it is, because this is the tourist capital of the world. But for the people who live here and deal with this on a daily basis, we're sick and tired. So, yeah, per capita, we're number 2 in the country for police shootings of unarmed individuals per capita. But we're number 1 for excessive force cases. That's not per capita. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, you want to put it on Chicago because they're minority and African American, but you don't want nobody to know that it's worse here.
Yeah, but Chicago has always been that way when you have the Italians and the Irish and the Polish, and it's a whole gang culture, but they focus on the present and focus on the blacks that are there and say, oh, it's so bad but this is the way it's always been. But how come they glorify the old days?
Well, you got to demonize a group of people. You got to demonize one. And what group is the easiest to demonize? But the African-American community. We're thugs. We're this. Anytime you can demonize us. I sat in a meeting where this lady literally said 1 out of 3 African-Americans will have some type of experience with the criminal system and the court system.
Right.
They can be incarcerated. No gasp in the room. But everybody was so upset because of the ban that President Trump had placed on certain Muslims coming from different countries. And I went back and said, well, why you not gasping? It's because y'all in my community all the time. I tell them all the time, if you're going to be in my community policing, put the resources here. But don't take the resources elsewhere. But the point is, if you went to Thornton Park, College Park, and every other park in Orlando that's predominantly Caucasian, I'm pretty sure if you down 24/7 with as many officers that you have in a 1.4 square mile radius of Parramore, you'll get the same result.
Yes.
Oh, I think you don't go there because they're white. And you can't have people thinking crime is in those communities. Or when there's a killing or a murder, you don't hear about it, or you don't hear what area it's in. You just hear that such and such was found dead or somebody was killed, and it happened in Orange County.
Right.
You know, that's code word is it was in a white community. You need to understand what the media code words here. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say Orlando. See, it says Orange County. It didn't say Orlando. It said Orange County.
Right.
You were reading. Code word. Code word. Now, if those had been African Americans that had done anything like that, it would have said Parramore community.
Yeah.
It would have identified Pine Hills. It would have identified those communities that are predominantly African American.
Yes.
All right, media, we are caught on to your tactics. That's why we do our own media for our own people.
That's right.
There's some good media outlets out there, but you need to know who your friends are. And the bottom line is, before that story went out, I'm pretty sure they had to rewrite that 100 times. And at the end of the story that we're talking about, they redirected it back to the police and the shootings and a tragedy that happened in this community.
Right.
But the point
They
is,
had to bring that up. Isn't that something?
It has nothing to do with each other. It has nothing.
Wow. Wow.
So to me is they just trying to cover it up and sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, you know what? I love talking talking to you later. But if I don't get to my other place in Florida and take care of something, I might not be able to talk to you next time.
But in our discussion, I just want you to identify yourself officially, because we all know who you are, but this is going out to the world. So I want everybody to know exactly who you are and what you do, and just, you know I love you. You know you're my girl.
Okay. Well, I wear many hats, but today I'm wearing the hat as who I am, Lawanna Gelzer, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of a AAA Alliance, which is an Advocacy, Action, Accountability Alliance group. And what we do is we bring truth. We work with other organizations like the National Action Network, Women of Color, and a whole bunch of us. But today that's the capacity, because I've been collecting research and data on the Central Florida community, especially the policing departments, for about 3.5 years. And I've come up with a community action plan, and I've been saying over and over again, to curb the problem of crime and what is transpiring in our community, we need a white paper study. And I'm still waiting for the city of Orlando to spend $30,000 to $40,000 to do a study. They keep delaying us because they don't want the real truth to come out. But you can't fight crime unless you know what's going on and what's contributing to it.
Yes.
So all they want to do is keep going in our communities and arresting us. Well, I say that same philosophy and go somewhere else. And then to my post, Sheriff Dimmons, I will never support you on your public safety platform, because I sat there since April and watched what you're doing. And at the end, all you was trying to do was show that we needed to get a $300,000 tank. We don't need to militarize the police force. You need to get out and do true community policing and stop doing these drive-by arrests in certain communities of color. We're sick and tired of it. If you're going to do it to us, do it to everybody else. No more cold words, and no more double standards. You're supposed to protect and serve. So to everybody, my name is Lawanna Gelzer. I'm just a concerned citizen who's fed up, who knows her value and her wealth, and I will speak for the voiceless any day.
Well, you got my vote and you got my support as always. I appreciate you, Lawanna, and you know I can talk to you all day, and I want to hear from you even more so on these different issues, because we want to blast this stuff out, because you're not going to get cut here. You're not going to be just a soundbite. I'm not going to paint you as just an angry black woman. You're very intelligent, and I appreciate the lifelong work that you've done.
But you know what, Lance? I always tell people, yeah, I'm an angry black woman. You would be angry if you know.
Well, you're righteously angry, but that's a cold word too.
Angry black woman who's well informed.
Right, that's the difference.
You should fear that about me. I'm well informed. I do my research. I don't let nobody tell me what's going on. I do more public requests, more collecting of data. I have a mathematics background and economics. I know how to do my own data foolery and statistical analyzing. Yes, I'm an angry black woman because the way you do me, but I'm one of the most informed black woman you will ever meet. So thank you for the compliment.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LanceScurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LanceScurv.